Hey everybody, welcome to the Soul Food Priest podcast with Father Ben. It's great to have you. One of the things that can be helpful when we talk about cooking and eating and these types of things, it's good to just kind of ask some basic questions sometimes. One of those basic questions is this: what is the difference between cooking and cuisine? So cooking, we're often asked this, and I've been asked this a number of times over the years as we've done our podcast. Cooking is the process, it's typically defined as the process of acquiring food, preparing food, and the process of cooking, of changing food, and cuisine is the result, what we actually eat. Keeping in mind that we are human beings, we need to eat to survive. On the other hand, we share a meal in a community way. It's more, for us, as we talk a lot about here, it's more than just simply the process of consuming food. That it's a communal aspect, and i.e. a spiritual aspect from the Catholic standpoint, because everything we are goes back to the Eucharist. So cooking, when we talk about this, it's good to remember that, I think, that for each one of us, there's really the mental aspect of cooking. What am I going to do? What ingredients do I need to get? The physical aspect of it, of actually chopping, cooking, preparing, and then the spiritual aspect of it. Again, the communal character of enjoying a meal together with other people, even if that's in a liturgical process, i.e. the Mass, keeping in mind that the word Mass in Latin, ite missa est, the last thing that a priest says, go in peace. So we are going forth to bring some of what we've grown with Christ out to the world. And so for a communal aspect of a meal, this impacts all of us on many different levels. And one of the things that is hard for people, if they put a lot of time and effort into a meal and it tastes bad, you want to believe that it's not as bad as it actually tastes. Let's say it's too salty or too sweet or too sour, right? We're hoping that it's not really burned on the bottom of the cake, okay? But it is. And so we often ask people, okay, how is it? Is it okay? And we're hoping that the response is good, even though the facts at hand are that it's way too salty, okay? Next time, leave the soy sauce out. In the same way, for our own lives, sometimes we hear what we want to hear, or we believe what we want to believe rather than believing the facts at hand. Okay, so for instance, in psychology, they have two phrases that I think is good to remember. They have what they call confirmation bias and desirability bias. Confirmation bias is when we've basically already pre-decided what we're going to believe, and we look for data to back up what we believe. Desirability bias is when something is wrong, but we want to actually believe that it's right. And we see this all over our culture, right? I mean, we see this in politics, we see this in morality. People buy into all types of deceptions. And this is very true when we talk about self-deception. A human being is an amazing creature from God. In fact, we are the highest of all God's creatures in the visible world. But we have an amazing capacity towards self-deception. I am entitled to this. Nobody will know. And this is, as time goes on, when we rationalize things, let's say it's just gossip or drinking too much, I'm entitled to this. We have the ability towards self-deception. In some ways, it's desirability bias. Okay? So in the same way that a communal aspect of a meal, we have more accountability in being with other people. We need to hear the truth that other people bring to us if we're going to grow in a healthy, happy way, both emotionally and spiritually. That requires, of course, that we're humble enough to hear what people bring to us. And this is a point that we make very frequently in our podcast, is that there's a communal nature of a meal. So for each one of us, it's important that we say, Lord, help me to be open to truth, and because the truth will set you free. Help me to be open to hearing it, to seeing it. Let me avoid self-deception. Well, how do we do that? Go to confession. When was the last time you actually went to confession? Okay, if it's been a minute, if you're thinking, okay, what year is it, Father? Okay, it's probably time to go. All right? Trust me, I went the other day. Priests go to confession all the time too. So this is part of the accountability that we have, and we need this openness to truth. So don't forget to put soul in your food and give food to your soul. God bless you.